Oh, yeah, go ahead. Ready? Slow-mo. Okay, we're not going to do that. All right, that's a good idea. Okay. It felt bad. All right. We're definitely not doing the slow-mo mission walk on the way in. All right. Great. That did not work. No, it was just the back of our heads, and we needed the music. You needed that, that build-up music, computers, what they do. And an explosion behind us would have been cool. A godly one. I don't know how that works out. Okay, yeah. Godly. Okay. All right, you guys ready? Neighborhood Church, what's going on? It's Pastor Joe, and I'm here with a couple missionaries from the Neighborhood Church because guess what? This week we're not here. We're actually all on mission! That's right. We are all across the U.S. right now. We recorded this message last Sunday because these two missionaries left on Monday to go out, and Jess and my family and I left on Saturday to go out on mini sabbatical. And so we have an incredible story of mission coming to you because we wanted to share where we're all going. So before we start, I wanted to take a second. I wanted to introduce you to the missionaries of the Neighborhood Church, our college missionaries. So I'm going to start to my right, and can you just say your name and maybe how long have you been at the church, and then where are you going this summer?
All right, my name's Malley, Terrones. I've been with the neighborhood since day one.
Day one, absolutely.
Yeah. And I'll be in Boston this summer.
That's incredible. All right, that's incredible. And go ahead.
My name is Brooke Laing. I've been with the Neighborhood Church about 4 years, and I am going somewhere in Arkansas.
Did you say somewhere in Arkansas?
Somewhere in Arkansas.
You don't know where you're going?
They have
Wait, don't say
me.
anything yet. Don't say anything yet. We're going to get to it a little bit later. But you heard that just now. So we're in a new series, and we're starting a new series today, and the new series is called Choose Your Own Adventure. And it's based off books before you guys were born, before I was born, right? They had a little red cover on them, and basically you could open them up, and you'd be like, oh, and you'd get to a part in the book, and it would say, do you want the person to climb a bridge to go over the water, or do you want them to swim through the shark-infested water? And you'd be like, oh, I want to turn to page 37 and see them swim. And then you would continue this book all throughout, right, and kind of go. So this series is about us choosing mission. And we're going to highlight all of our mission partners throughout the series, which is going to be really awesome. And so we're going to start with you guys, right? Boston, somewhere. We're going on mini sabbatical, which is really towards the east. But actually, this Sunday that you're listening to right now, I'm baptizing my niece in Phoenix, Arizona at a church service. So there's a lot going on. But let's start here. You said you're going to Boston. And let's start with who's the organization you're serving and how did you get to know them or experience them?
So I'll be working with Next Step Ministries this summer, and I've been working with them since I was 15. I'm 20 now. My dad and I went on the first mission trip here to Guatemala.
First one.
In 2015. And I've been to Guatemala 4 times with them.
Awesome.
And I was supposed to be in Guatemala last summer with Next Step, but...
What happened?
This thing called COVID happened.
Now, when you say you were supposed to be them, you were signed up to be like a global missionary, correct?
Yes. Yep.
And what does that mean when you're going to go with them? Because now you're in Boston.
Yes.
But when you say I was signed up to be a missionary, just give them details on time frame, how long does it take, what your job is going to be.
So the 4 times I've been to Guatemala were just 1 week-long mission trip. But what I was supposed to be doing last summer and what I'll be doing this summer is for the entire summer. I will be living in Boston. I was supposed to be living in Guatemala. I'll leave on the 24th of May, get back August 11th, if that tells you anything. So, yeah.
That's a big trip.
Yeah,
That's
long.
a really big trip.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so you got 4 years, and that's right. I heard it. I want to emphasize it again. You helped start global mission at the Neighborhood Church with you and your dad, going on what I think was like a taste and see mission. I forget what we called it, but basically we were like, we've never been, you go tell us how it is, come back and inform us, and then we'll take a crew out. And I think the next year we went with 40.
Yeah.
40 people. We're like, we'll take a couple. It ended up being 40 people. And do you remember when we started? It was 7 people had signed up. And then at the interest meeting, 13 people showed up. And they're like, okay, great. By the next week, everyone had shared about it, and 20 people were signed up. And the next week, it was 27 people. And then we invited more churches from Cersei, and then it became 36 people. And at that point, it was I don't know what to do anymore. We have to shut it down. And 4 more people snuck in, and we ended at 40 people going on global mission. Try to get those flights scheduled. It was a lot. Okay, we're going to learn more about Boston in just a second. Okay. But let's talk about what you're doing. serving. So who is the organization you're serving, and how did you get to know them?
Yeah, I'm working with a group called Ozark Mission Project, and I've been doing it since the summer of my 7th grade year. So I've been all over Arkansas doing their week-long camps, and basically what you do is different youth groups, which TNC's going, sign up.
We got how many students going? 9 students are going. 9 students are going this year. Yep, sign up. It's going to be awesome.
So basically what those youth groups are going to do is typically they'll go to the location, you get to know all these different people from different churches, and you go out and do things for the people in your community all around Arkansas, like build wheelchair ramps, paint houses, yard work, just things that need to be done for our neighbors. And I've been with them since 7th grade, so this will be my 8th camp, I think.
Wow, that's incredible.
8th, 9th, and 10th, I guess.
Now, in the same way as Malley, you introduced OMP to the neighborhood church, right?
I did, yes.
Okay, I just got to stop for a minute because I want to highlight what's happening here. You have 2 college missionaries that we're sending and equipping to go on further mission that actually ended up introducing the neighborhood church to mission. Like, we heard your stories and we said, yeah, go, teach us, show us what's going on. So we've now been doing OMP for 2 years?
I think this will be our 2nd year.
Yeah, this will be our 2nd year, and we've done it, and it's awesome. Now, just a quick OMP. It's changed a little bit this year than it was past. Can you give me, what's the structure of a week camp at OMP? What is it like normally?
I wish I could tell you, but what I know is that our TNC kids are basically going to be staying here, and they're going to have a college staffer, which I'm a college staffer.
Awesome.
That comes to them and splits them up into groups, and they're going to go out to the people in the community, and they're going to serve them, and then they'll go home, they'll take their showers, they'll eat dinner, and then I'm not sure how worship is going to work because, COVID, but then they'll do it all again the next day.
So it's almost like a day camp, right? And each night they go back to their parents, which is different from before. Before they actually stayed at what do they call them, houses, right, and where they were at, and they stayed in different community members' houses?
Yeah, typically, I've gone to Benton before and Hot Springs, all these different places, and you typically would stay at a church. But because we're trying to not intermingle churches this year, we're going to do it to where you stay local.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. All right, so question off books, right? This is a question I'm giving you guys hot off the press right now. You ready for it? Here it is. I'm going to start with Brooke. Brooke, tell me one of your favorite experiences, because mission is sometimes these mountaintops, right? And it's these experiences where you just have this one memory, this ingrained memory. Wow, this centered me on OMP, right? And I love going back into this memory of my faith with OMP. What's a great experience, a great memory that you have serving with OMP?
Ooh, one of my favorite parts about OMP was the fact that I got to meet people from all over Arkansas and just kind of reach out. So I have connections out in Van Buren, I've got connections down in Conway, and I've got all these connections. And so one of my favorite parts was just meeting the people from the camp. And I remember right when you said this came to mind, which is so weird.
Yeah, that's great.
But my very first camp, I loved my group. I was best friends with them. But it was the littlest thing in the entire world, but we took our water and we had cups, and rather than doing our work like we should have been, we started throwing water at each other. So by the end, we're in the middle of the day, so we're working in wet clothes, and I just remember having the time of my life with the simplest little thing that was going on.
That's an awesome memory. I think mission can be the time of your life, which is really awesome. And you said you weren't working. Just wanted to highlight that for a second. As a leader, you weren't working, you were playing around?
Don't quote me on that.
But hey, guess what? That's okay on mission, right? Because that forms the connections. Yes. That forms kind of, hey, we can change church and serve on mission, but we can also create relationship, right? And it's as important, which I think is really cool. Thanks for sharing. Malley, what is a awesome memory and experience that brings up this faithful emotion in you when you think about Next Step Ministries?
Oh, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Especially being there 4 times in different stages of my life. But just the worship is great and the community is great. But if I had to pick one thing, it would probably just be overall, just when you're there, you truly see how God works and how beautiful his plan is. And just the different people that he's created in the world and coming together for one reason.
That's awesome.
To do his work, to worship him, to praise him. And it's so fun and it's meaningful and you feel things you've never felt before. And so I'm just excited to do that somewhere new this year.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
When I went to Guatemala, right, and served alongside and led some of those mission trips, Guatemala broke me. There's been one or two times where I've been broken at Guatemala. And I mean, like, the Spirit just wrecks you. And that's an honest pastor moment. You know, I love to be like, hey, I'm going to be solid all the time and I'm going to be strong all the time. But yeah, I got wrecked a lot in Guatemala. Just one of those where you're off in another country and you know that God's doing something in your life and you're back into owning that moment where nothing else matters, right? Along with those feelings, like all the relationships are being created. And we got other churches there, same with OMP, like other churches come together and you see this like whole forming of like the local church across the world, and it just overwhelms you as like a pastor because you want to see that. You just want to see the mission that you're doing, and I love that we're supporting it is because I want to see that mission go outside of these walls, and you guys are taking that in an incredible way. Now, you both talked about worship, which I love on mission because there's always a component of worship, right, when you go on mission. So I want to hear what's worship like, because you're actually be leading worship for your site in Boston. So what's the experience like global in Next Step Ministries? And then what's the experience local, or what are you thinking about for leading worship? I'm intrigued.
Well, in Guatemala, it's usually broken down worship. There's a guitar or two, a keyboard, maybe a cajon, something like that.
Did you say broken down because I said I broke down in Guatemala? Is that way?
Pun.
No, fun.
No, I didn't. But
You didn't
there
say
you
that?
go.
I was like, that worked really well. That's great. Yeah.
But in Boston, it will be even more broken down because I will be the only person playing an instrument. It will be me and this one other girl named Janae.
Wow.
And it'll be just us singing and me playing the guitar, maybe the keyboard if they have one.
Okay.
That's not what I was expecting at all. I was expecting there to be more people, kind of nervous to lead more than one person. So that'll be nice. It'll just be teamwork kind of.
Yeah,
two
absolutely.
People. But yeah, I'm really just letting the Lord lead me to what I feel in the moment. And we'll have, what's the word? What am I doing?
I wish that you're leading worship.
Yeah. We'll have this week where we're preparing.
Oh, great. So just like a prep week, right? We go and hang out with all the staffers and everything else. Yeah, okay.
So we'll have that week to we're practicing for other churches.
Great.
Other teams for different sites across, the
And
US.
you guys all come together during this week, right? And you
Yes.
hang out together. You meet all the other staffers wherever they're going, because it's not, just like OMP, it's not just one location, right? There's other locations across the U.S., right, that you can serve, and there's other locations globally. And you guys all come together before you go out so you can meet everyone going everywhere.
Yes.
And then you go out. And we're going to talk about going out because that changed just recently from your other. I've heard two expectations that have shifted slightly.
Yeah.
Right? This is good, though.
Crazy.
This is good because mission never goes the way you want.
No,
it never goes the way you want. It's just not that expectation. What is worship like, right, for OMP?
So worship is awesome. Worship anywhere is awesome, but OMP, I love worship. Typically, it's one of those things where we kind of make it up on the fly. Typically, our college staffers would prepare their message the week of where the Lord was leading them, and then we'd get the different students from all over. They'd come together, and if you could play an instrument, you could lead worship. It's one of those on-the-fly things. But because of COVID, I actually filmed my message about a month and a half ago,
Nice.
which is kind of weird to know that's already done, and I'm talking to future people. But so I think worship, this could change by the day, but it's going to be online. All the college staffers have everything recorded, and it's actually, I think, getting clipped together as we speak right now. So it's going to look more on those lines, but I'm hoping churches will actually lead their own music and their own worship throughout the week, since we won't be able to all gather together. But it'll still be just as powerful, I'm sure.
That's awesome. So can I share with you guys some of my mission experience? So kind of where I started mission and where I got this heart for mission across the world. And actually the church is going to hear about it next week, right? And they'll hear about it from my dad. And we went to Amor Ministries, which is Love Ministries, in Mexico. So we went to Tijuana, we went to Mexicali, we went to Tecate, we went to Rosarita, all these places kind of just near Arizona, but up on the border. And we served building homes for families. And when we served building homes for families, it had elements of everything that both of you are talking about, right? We caravan down. So my dad started the trip way back in the day, and it started with, just a group going, and that was it. The last trip I went on had 153 people, right? Like 17 caravans going down, right? It was crazy. And we all had to cross the border, and everyone had to cross it like a different area. So you just saw vans like crossing you and going this way and that way, and everyone just trying to make it across the border in a great way. And but it had these elements of great work, right? It had this element where we served all day and we mixed concrete, and we did built wood walls, and those were called woodpeckers, and we did concrete, and those were called blockheads, and we started creating all these great teams. And on stucco day, we always got in stucco fights, and it was huge. We'd be stuccoing the back of a wall, and the stucco was really cool in the shade, and so it would be so hot in Mexico, and you just fall against the stucco, and your face would just plant out. You're like, oh, this is so nice. And then someone would just slap with a whole huge face of stucco, right? Just on, and it was these great memories, though. These great memories from mission, and the worship was the same. We worship, and I can tell you, when we got by that campfire at night, and it was a huge circle around this campfire, huge circle, and it was broken down, right? A guitar, right? Maybe 2 guitars, and just singing, right? Just singing by the campfire. And still, some of those memories are what drive my love for mission today and my heart to go back, which is really incredible. But not every trip went great. I fell through a wall on one trip, right, and slid down the firewalls, right, and with the nails sticking out. That was a bummer.
That's not surprising.
That's not surprising, is it? I know. Why is that not surprising? Pants done over. There was trips where I got sick and was out for like 3 days. And so there's just unexpected things that happen in these trips. And I heard a couple unexpected things over here. Right, and I heard a couple unexpected things over here, so I'm going to flip it and reverse it and talk about, something just a little bit different. We've all talked about the hope and the love and the worship and the memories and the relationships. Let's talk about the fear. Let's talk about the fear of God that is in us right now for what's happening, because where I'm headed is a different style of mission. So I'm going on a sabbatical, right, and the mission in my heart is that I actually have to disconnect for a little bit, which is something that I don't do well, and I've never done. It's been 10 years. They recommend it every 4 years. It's been 10 years, right? And so family and I are going out, and our goal is to rejuvenate, right, to spend time together, but also refresh, which means experience other worships, get out and everything I fell in love with church again, experience that. But I don't disconnect well. So the unexpected for me, and what Jess keeps on talking about 24/7, is when can you release? Can you get away from this? Can you set your phone down? Can you be that? And so I'm sitting there going, ooh, I hope. There's all these unexpected turns that happen. And of course, the first thing we're doing is going to baptize, hanging out with the church, right, talking with our leadership teams. And I'm like, after this Sunday, it'll be good. And it will. But there's unexpected things that are going to happen. So I'm going to let you sit on the unexpected for a moment. And I'm going to go over here because I heard you start by saying, hey, where are you headed? And your response to that was, give me the 3 words that you said in response to that.
I don't know.
I don't know. So let's imagine today's the 23rd, okay, right? When do you leave to go to OMP?
Okay, so let's time travel real quick. So this is last Sunday. I leave Thursday for training. And hopefully, I'm saying my prayers, when you're watching this, I will know where I'm going. But I don't know right now.
You don't know. Somewhere, is there like a region? I mean, is it just in Arkansas?
Yeah, so I know my possibilities, but I don't know who I'm going with or which one I will be at. So I may be in Fayetteville, I may be in Little Rock, we're going somewhere weird. Know
that's where you're going now. You so know that's where you're going. You said it like, I'm going to dismiss that one. God's like, gotcha. I was just seeing which one wasn't on the list.
It's like 5 hours away.
It's gonna be so good though.
So good.
It's good, so good. Unexpected though.
Very much.
Did you expect to know by now where you were going?
We found out last week that apparently they don't want to put us in our groups or tell us where we're going until we actually meet each other in person. So yes and no.
Yes and no. How much fear does that cause you?
I am a planner. So this has been kind of a let's push everything we're thinking to the back of our mind moment and not worry about it, which has definitely been difficult.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What does it cause you in your relationship with God? So leaving on Thursday, not knowing where you're going, right? sitting in the unknown, waiting to meet people you haven't met before, to be told to go somewhere and trust in the Spirit. How does that inform your relationship with God?
It's not messing with anything. It's one of those things where I know this is where God wants me, and I know
Right.
He wants me spending my summer here. So why would I try to get entangled with God's plan and try to mess things up when I could just sit back and be like, yes, this is giving me anxiety, but it's that good type of exciting anxiety that I can just kind of sit in because, it's kind of cool.
That's an awesome statement. One, you said it's not messing with anything, which I think is a cool shirt. I don't know, what's happening with your relationship with God and the plan? It's not messing with anything, right? But it's, even though I don't understand it, I believe in the plan, right? And I believe in where God has me, right? And just because I don't know the exact next steps, I know the path is before me. That's an incredible statement. Really, it is. I mean, to be a week out, right? 4 days out from going on mission, and us talking on this Sunday, and you're saying, yeah, on this Sunday, I might not even know still, right? And still meeting the people. That's absolute faith. It's something where I want to say as a pastor, so proud of you, right? To be in that moment, having led and say, I'm willing to go, right? Even though I don't know this. Because, yeah, we want to kind of check all the boxes and be able to say everything that's going on. But there's a cool moment to say, it's not messing with anything, and I trust the plan. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Malley. So what are some of the unexpected things that have happened for you?
A lot. One being the complete location change over the year.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to reapply or anything. This is the exact same position job as a year ago.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
You didn't reapply.
No.
So they put you in Boston.
Yeah, they said, sorry, we're
Interesting.
not going to Guatemala, but this will be waiting for you next
Wow,
summer.
I did not know that. That is unexpected. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And so, yeah, they weren't sure if we were going to Guatemala, so they let me put down a top 5
Great.
of the locations they gave me.
Boston was number 1.
I don't remember, honestly. I think
Boston
LA,
wasn't on the list. Yeah.
LA was one.
LA was like, yeah, you would, LA.
I'm going to Cali.
Hey, watch out, right?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
But then the Lord was like, Boston.
Yeah, I'm going to Cali. You're hilarious. That's great. When Jess and I were going to seminary, we have to walk downstairs when we get our assignment for internship. And internship's the third-year seminary. And we go down and we have to pull up a piece of paper out of an old school mailroom with the old glass letter boxes with the little turnstiles on them. And there's just a file folder case on a rolling cart down there. And you pull out your envelope. And the address label is where you're going for the next year. That's how they do it.
So it's like Hunger Games.
It's like Hunger Games. That's exactly right. Oh, that's super funny. I wish I would have known that then because that's how I felt. How does it go? Do you know it?
No.
I don't know the tune. Do you know
It's
the
been a
tune?
while. Wait,
Do, 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 do. And it's not this.
It's this.
Yeah, my fingers are
think it's
weird.
3.
I can't do it. Okay, we got that.
Anyway.
Okay, Hunger Games. So we went down there, and I pick up this envelope, and I had written my internship application for. It's just not going well right now. I had written my intern application for Colorado Springs. Beautiful. We knew the church. We knew the location. There was a hospital nearby. Jess was pregnant at the time. It was everything. They were planting churches, so I knew I was supposed to be there. God had aligned my path there, right? And I pull up this wonderful thing that has my address location on it. Do you know what it says? It was not one of my top 5. It was actually not one of my top 3. It wasn't anywhere in my top. It said Fort Smith, Arkansas, and Boonville, Arkansas. And I was like, well, I didn't even know God was in Arkansas. That wasn't on my plan anywhere, completely unexpected. And I would say I was super happy and joyful, and I understood the plan, and that was not how I was. I Hunger Games it. Absolutely. I was a little bit upset. Took me 3 days, but honestly, look at this. We are now, from that moment, right, 12 to 14 years later, with an incredible church, incredible people, college missionaries going on mission, sponsored by the, I'm ecstatic to where God brought this, right, from trusting in that plan. So that's one unexpected, right, is that you didn't know you were going to Boston. You're now in Boston. What's the other unexpected that just happened?
I just found out that, so for those of you who don't know, I'll be flying not to Boston tomorrow, but to Madison, Wisconsin for a week of training.
And this would have been last Monday because you're watching on the
not
30th,
tomorrow.
right? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Last Monday.
Yeah, there you go.
And so right now, I will be driving from Madison to Boston in a car.
And I'm glad. Was there going to be another vehicle that you're going to
I
take?
think there's actually 2 vans.
2 vans. Okay,
So-
great. How many people are driving with you? Just the 2 of you, right?
No, I have no idea.
You have no idea.
It'll be my whole team, so at least 9 of us. I don't know if we're driving. I don't know if we have drivers. I don't know where we're staying. I know we're taking 2 days to do it. I thought we were flying because it's 22 hours.
It's 22 hours?
That's what I was told. I didn't fact check
Wow. Okay. So I just want to let you know, both of you have shared that you are going on mission this week. Right? You guys have left for mission, you're getting prepped for mission, everything else, and you have no idea where you're going, no idea who's going with you, really no idea of the plan. Neighborhood church, when we plan mission and you ask for details and we give you those details and we get them in sheets and Excel spreadsheets and flight plans and everything else and every detail for every single minute, these two have accepted mission with 0 details. I just want to say that out loud just because I love you. It's all out there. But, do you remember all the details we did for Guatemala? It was booklets of information to make sure everyone's comfortable. OMP, same thing. Parents get tons of information about what's going on. So we try to supply you with everything. But these 2 girls are trusting, right, in an incredible way what that mission is. So now that we've heard that, right, the unexpected, last part, greatest fear. What is your greatest fear? Because here's what I want to do. I want to talk about greatest fear, share our mission verses that we're going with, and then pray out, right? And just pray over us, right? Welcome that spirit in, trust that God's still moving. But I want to take that fear and add it into the prayer so that way we know that God's hearing that and we can move that into a hope, right? Move that fear into a hope. So what is your greatest fear right now going on mission that we can pray over?
I'm kind of nervous. This is something that kind of hit me this week, that I'm a 19-year-old that's going to be in charge of possibly 18-year-olds and also adults that are in charge of the family groups. And it's kind of nerve-wracking because I know God gifted me with leadership, but I've never had the opportunity to put it into action like this, especially over people who could possibly be decades older. Not that I'm going to ask them their age, but it's just that I'm a 19-year-old in charge of all these youth and stuff, and I'm supposed to tell them how to build a wheelchair ramp when next week I'm going to be learning how to build a wheelchair ramp. And it's kind of been nerve-wracking, but once again, whatever. God's got it.
God, let's go
another
back
shirt.
to whatever. God's got it. It's all good. That pastors, right, and leaders call that imposter syndrome, right, where we don't feel like we actually have the leadership skills and the know-how to be present in those situations, and that we're really just an imposter, right, stepping in. I can tell you from listening to you today that you are an absolute leader, that you are capable, you're a profound, that people will listen to you. I'm listening to you. And I want to let you know, you've taught this church already. And I don't want you to forget that. We go to OMP because you help lead us there, right? You've already been doing that as a 19-year-old. I think you have a profound gospel in you. And I don't want you to be scared of that at all, right? I think you're going to get there and realize that, like you said, God gifted you with that, and that's part of his plan. That's part of God's plan in your life. So I think you're going to be absolutely incredible. And I'm excited to hear about it. I'm excited to be like, yeah. Wheelchair ramps for nothing. But when we got to this, whoa, and it was great. And the challenges that come, because every one of those will increase your leadership. So you'll start here on leadership, and every challenge will just increase it. And I'm so excited for you. It's going to be awesome. We will pray over that. What is the greatest fear heading into mission?
Probably 2 things. One is just missing my family, because this will be the longest I've ever been away from them.
She threw in the family line. You're going to have to say something about your...
I know. I feel like I need to step it up.
No, literally, I almost started crying today during church because my Mimi grabbed my hand and my dad was holding on my shoulder and sitting by my mom and my sister. I was like, I'm not going to see them tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that. And then just something that I've been trying to work on in this past year of my life, just giving up control.
Oh, nice.
Something that I struggle with because just growing up needing to have control over things, and it's made life so much harder.
Yeah,
and just knowing that God is the one that's in control. Nothing I do can change that.
Yep.
So just sitting back and listening to him and doing what he needs me to do is better for everybody involved. Yep. So definitely being flexible, letting go of that control, letting go of expectations.
Yeah.
Just keeping an eye out for that on myself, just making sure that I am loose, I am flexible, I am there for the right reasons.
Yep.
And just keeping that, in the front of my mind.
I love how you named that as a fear, and everything you talked about before this in the unexpected is the absolute lack of control.
Yeah.
Everything you're embracing right now has no control over it, right? What you're walking to is in an environment where you have zero control and can only trust God. And I don't wonder if God put that on your heart, but God said, hey, I've already made you live into it. Like, I've already made you live into the no control, so that when you get farther along in this process throughout the summer, right, the leadership that you have will increase tenfold, right, and 100-fold because of that. And I think just the fact that you're embracing this already is absolutely stunning. It's absolutely stunning, because that's a hard reality for both of you, right, to go into this unexpected, because you're absolutely giving God control. And that is wonderful. So I asked, we're going into some verses, right? And so before we pray, what is the verse leading you into mission, right? And as you guys pull up your verses, I'm going to share my verse, right? This was a life verse that I added. I got like 10 life verses, right? Which is great. I just add them to the list. I don't take one away to add a new one. I just boop, pop it in there, right? And this is from Proverbs 17:22. And it says this. It says, a cheerful heart is good medicine. It's good for the soul. It says, but a downcast spirit, right, dries up the bones. And I always say that you can't dry up my bones. You can't take away my joy. You can't steal my joy. And that's true, right? This cheerful heart is something that's so integral to my faith and my being with God, that I want to see that happen when I'm trying to let go of control. And when I'm trying to say that, okay, I can step away from it to get refilled and recharged. And I can still have a cheerful spirit doing that, right? And so that's going to be my guiding verse as I go through this. And so let's go to Brooke. Brooke, what is going to be your guiding verse?
So I'm actually stealing this from this year's theme for OMP, which is labor of love, which that's honestly just the theme of OMP in general. But it's John 15:12 that says, this is my commandment, love each other in the same way I have loved you. I'm just excited to get to love on so many people, so many different people in the community, and so many kids in the youth groups. It's honestly an awesome opportunity to do that and reach out to them, and because I know high school and middle school is hard. Yep. So it's going to be fun. I'm so excited. That's
awesome. I love it. I love it. And I love that verse too. It's going to be a great verse. And what about you, Malley?
Okay, mine is from John 14:27, and it says, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid.
Oh, that's good.
And I'll be wearing this one around my neck, so it's
nice.
Right here.
That's great.
My mom has a matching one.
Oh, good.
So.
Connection to family.
Yep.
Connection to family.
Yeah.
Well, can we pray over each other? Can we do that? And as a part of leadership, and I didn't ask you guys this before, but I was wondering maybe if one of you would start and one of you would finish, and I'll cover the middle, right? And usually when I have multiple people praying, that's kind of how I go. So is there one of you that would like to start praying, and then I can do the middle portion, and then someone can end?
I can start.
You want to start?
Sure.
You comfortable ending?
I can do that.
All right, that's great. All right. Why don't you kick us off and lead us into mission this week as we go out in prayer.
Okay. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for these 3 different journeys that you have gifted us with. We just pray, first of all, for safety. We pray that so far in our journeys that we have enjoyed and made impacts and have just truly accepted where we're going. And we thank you for the love that you've given us and the courage to do these things, because it's not for everybody, but we thank you that it is for us. And that's where I'll leave that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Lord, I am here with 2 amazing college missionaries. Lord, I look back at my own life, and I am profoundly aware of the humble, servant-hearted leaders that are sitting next to me. I did not have this awareness as a college student to be going on mission, and their hearts to serve. It's incredible. Lord, it's inspiring. It's one of those where I want to step back and I just know their faith, and I'm thankful for it. Lord, there are specific prayers being lifted up. We want to lift up that as we go on mission, that we are capable to lead, and that you have called us on this mission, that we are boldly confident in the faith that we have in you, and that we're confident in a couple ways. One, that you will teach us the things that we need to know. If we're submitting to your will and to your plan, Lord, our prayer today is teach us what we need to know. Teach us how to be present with others. Create in us the relationships that we need in order to support the systems that are around us, so that we may feel that we can lead confidently, that we can lead faithfully, that we can lead others to not only relationship to serving others, but truly relationship with you. And I pray that specifically over Brooke. And as we think about traveling for the summer, I know both of these college missionaries are going away from their families. That's tough. That's just tough no matter when it happens. And so I pray a spirit of comfort over them. I pray that the friends that they make and the relationships may become lifelong friends, and they may hold the tide over until they see their family again. that they may experience those relationships. And Lord, I continue to pray that as we lead, and especially as Malley leads, that there's this wonderful heart for mission that says that we can be out there and not have to have control over everything, but that we can give it to God. That we can step back and say, God has this, God has me, God has called me, equipped me, and sent me for the sake of the world, and I trust in that. And my hope is that both of these wonderful missionaries sitting next to me know that God is forming them, that they've been created for good works, that this was prepared beforehand to be their way of life, as it says in Ephesians, and that this work is a good work and it is a holy work, and it is who God created them to be. And God knows who God created them to be, and they're just now coming into that, and they are being formed. So I pray over the missionary trips that are happening. I pray over the joy that will come from those and the stories that they will tell, because that will be absolute gospel, not only for themselves, but for the church, their family, and friends. Brooke, if you can close this out.
Hey, God, thank you for giving us this opportunity just to go out and be your hands and feet these coming weeks. Thank you for giving me two awesome missionaries that are also going to live different experiences, but same at the same time. I pray over the people that we're about to go out and serve, Lord. I pray that everything we do in these coming weeks is in your name, and that we glorify you through everything that we do, and that we can come back and we can share those stories of what you did through our lives and other people's lives, and just help those around us. And in your name, pray. Amen.
Amen. Right? Neighborhood Church, we will see you guys next week. Pastor Don Lyles is preaching on Mexico mission, where it all started for him and I's relationship back when we were serving church. And you're going to hear about those mission trips. And hopefully we'll get some stories from you guys on your mission trip, or at least figure out who you went with and where you're going. Will be awesome for next Sunday. So we will see if we have some of those updates for you. But neighborhood, peace. We love you. Do you guys want to do a slow mission walk out?
Oh.